Hey guys. Sorry. Welcome back to Flying in Space with Planet Head, and a name that will be probably changing here fairly shortly. Uh, okay, this is weird. I'm not used to having um, the two monitors up in a while and actually talking into the microphone. So maybe I should m- move the camera to that one for the next video. I apologize if it gets a little bit weird. I'm not used to just talking to the microphone when I see my own planet-sized head over here on the right. That also being that I have not done a video in a really long time. Um, so, ooh, wait, hold on one second. Is that right? It has been quite some time. It has been so long that I have not celebrated online about these boys winning the Super Bowl this year. I think the last time I did a video was either December or early January, maybe early December. And uh, no real, there's a lot of reasons why I haven't done a video, a lot of changes in my life. Um, and to be honest with you, a lot of it was, it just kind of slipped my mind with so many changes and things going on. The most important reason is I never really want. I gotta stop. I gotta look at the camera. Can't help it. Um, Long story short, I never wanted to do videos just to do videos. Um, and when things are changing in your life for both good and bad, um, there's a lot of times you can make videos about that, which is cool. But other times it becomes a smaller thing until you get things taken care of. I can't remember, to be very honest. I could very easily look up the last video I made, um, and see where I was at when I was doing the videos. What I can tell you is that I'm not going to bother with that because it's been so long ago. What I am going to tell you is this is completely off the cuff. Hopefully, the next video I do will be much more formalized. Um, I would like to start doing videos again. I will say this, there's a very good chance I won't be doing another video for about 2 weeks. I'll get to that here in a second, but I did want to pop a video in now to say hi. How you guys doing? Hope everybody's doing really well. Let you know that I am coming back. Um, but I didn't know when I would have the time over the next couple weeks that I would be able to take the time to make a worthwhile video other than today and maybe possibly this coming Sunday. Um, and I'll explain that here in a second, completely off the cuff today. Um, so that being said, I actually haven't played Eve in probably about 4 months. Nothing against Eve whatsoever. Gotta stop looking over here. Maybe I just need to move the camera over to that side. Ah, um, and there's a reason why I have the launcher screen up here. These are my three character names. I don't really care if anybody knows what they are. You know, if you watch my old videos, I have a lot of old accounts that I've used in the past. To get right down to it, since I haven't played in quite a while, I know all of these are alpha characters. I wanted to give people the ability to communicate with me via, if they don't want to go through comments. I'm going to be coming back to Eve sometime off and on over the next couple weeks, just a little bit. But I will be using my old account, Planet Spacehead or Planet Head. Um, I think I actually own the Planet No Space Head account too, but I'm going to only be logging in with the Planet Head. If anybody wants to email or message me in game, if you want to comment, that's cool too. I'm not even sure who's going to be watching this video, but I really do miss all the guys that are out there. Um, why am I saying 2 weeks? Because I want to get back into Eve. I want to start playing again. I want it as a side thing. My life has completely changed over the last 4 or 5 months. At the beginning, I don't want to say it was for the bad, But it was life changing. It was a choice that I made as far as work goes. I've spent a lot of time over the last couple months focusing on getting my life in a better shape. It wasn't in a terrible shape before then, but I had to make a really tough decision about work. And since then, I've been really focused on getting my life together and getting focused on things. As always, coffee. So I apologize if this video is all over the place. Um, Actually, I guess I should write this up here. So now I'm gonna write past. I actually have a chalkboard on my wall, um, behind my monitor. So I'm gonna say past, now, just keep myself in line, and future. And going forward, I think I might use this chalkboard to keep myself in line as far as making off the cuff videos. So past, what happened? I'm gonna try to keep this real short. If anybody has watched all my old videos the last couple of years, I worked for Amazon for quite a long time, about 6.5 years, almost 7 years. I started from the very bottom of working part-time, working on the ship dock, loading boxes on the truck. It was a third job that I was doing for the summer. Um, Gotta keep this real short. Long story short, over the course of 6.5 years, I went from working part-time to then going full-time, then becoming what's called an ambassador, who are the people who train classes for new hires, to then becoming a process assistant for the ship dock, which is it's a supervisor of the ship dock. You're covering the 30 or 40 people that are there, um, making sure the boxes get out the doors. And then I moved on from then to other supervisory jobs where I was in charge of the order pickers, the people that go out and get the stuff. Then I was in charge of the guys who pack the stuff. And then I was moving around between all three and training different supervisors on how to do stuff. At that point, after about 3 years, they had been trying to convince me to become a manager there, which I didn't want to do. I'd gotten out of management. And when I say management, a supervisor to me is yeah, you manage a process. That's why they call them process assistants. But you don't have people reporting to you. You're giving people to get a job done. A manager is in charge of the people, their likes, their wants, their dislikes, um, getting to work, telling them that they're about to be fired, or reporting things to HR, that sort of thing. And they've been wanting me to do that. I didn't want to do that because I did that for 25 years. I wanted to get away from that. So I became a trainer. I was a trainer for 2.5 years. Did that, and really loved it. I really like that. The trainer at Amazon is in charge of, number one, the higher level parts of training, the certifications, that sort of thing. You don't do a whole lot of training, but those are the ones that you do. Then you organize all of the other training classes for that shift. Thing that I really enjoyed about it was, number one, it was different every day, but number two, I could help people learn to train, learn to run classes, people who want to progress up in their job to become managers, to become other trainers, to move on, um, or just do something special with their lives, maybe try something new. That's what I really enjoyed. I did that for about 2.5 years. And I'm going to be very blunt about this. I made a mistake. I uh, was joking around with a friend of mine who was the other trainer on my shift, and he was a younger guy, and he wanted to become a manager. And I said, "Well, hey, why don't we both just apply together? Neither one of us is going to get it. But let's both apply. It's going to be like 500 people that apply for this job. Let's do it." And he said, "Okay, let's both apply," and we both got the job. We both got managerial jobs. So try to keep this story long and short. Um, I never have short stories. We both became managers. The one job I didn't want to do, I got. And I did it for about 4 months. Whoa, whoops. Well, that's future right there. Boom. Okay. Oh no, you didn't see that. So, oh man, this video is going to go long. I got to shorten the story up. I did it for about 5 months. And if you remember last year, about this time, I stepped down from being a manager. I don't know if I brought all that onto here. Um, in general, a lot of small reasons. I think my heart wasn't in it because I'd done it for so long. but I could have done it. I loved my people. I loved the people I worked with. The other thing that hit me with like a ton of bricks was my best friend there, who had actually moved to a building across the street a couple weeks prior. He was my same age within a week or two. We were both 52. We were both born in February. Um, he actually had, he was a manager there, and we had worked together for 3 years. Now I don't. He wasn't my best friend in real life, but you have that best work friend, that guy that gets you, you get them. The guy when you're not around, they have your back, and you have their back no matter what. Well, he actually passed away on the floor. He had a heart attack on the floor at his new building, um, uh, and it really hit me like a ton of bricks. And it took a couple weeks. Um, and long story short on that part, I have in my family, I've never had to have any issues with it, but it's going to be coming up. Heart conditions within my family. My great grandfather died at 60. My grandfather died at 65. My father died at 670, all from heart attacks. We have a degenerative issue with our hearts. It's not a normal like heart issue. It is stuff that just go. It's not good. Now I can prolong that by being healthier, and I've worked on that. And that's why you can tell um, by the age difference. Both my we've learned from it, so I'm trying to learn from those examples. But it really hit me like first of all my sadness for my friend Chris passing away, but then my eye-opening part that I was causing myself so much stress in that job, of a job that um, my whole heart. That's a bad phrasing. My whole soul wasn't into, and it was just driving me more and more insane. I want to be very blunt about this. I went to my bosses. Long story short, um, as a manager, I asked to step down to go to a lesser position. Uh, I could not do that because I was salary at that point. I was normally not allowed to do that. They went the extra mile. They knew what I was going through. They talked to me about it. They tried to convince me not to do it, but after a while, and I explained the importance of it, they said, "Give us a little bit of time." They let me work through it, and they were able to find another building that I could transfer to. Because being a manager, I know certain things about people that are on the floor. And they're and I wouldn't want my boss to be standing next to me the next day doing the same job whenever I poured it on my heart. They were able to find for me another spot in another building at a lower level, entry level, and I went there and I worked there for about 4 months. That point, there was a new position at a brand new building that was opening up. Um, and this was, I think, August that it was opening. And there was one position that they had that I was interested in. It was a quality assurance um, position. You're basically, in general format, you didn't have anybody reporting to you. Your job was to go throughout the area, check the quality of all the work that was done, look for improvements. Hey, guess what? If you guys missed her, come on, come on. She just walked in the door. Come on up here. There she is. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? There she is. There she is. You guys haven't seen her in a while. Maya's doing fantastic. Okay. Okay. Good girl. All right, go sit down. I got a lot of talking to do. No. Best thing I ever did. Okay. So she's on her way. Uh, Long story short, I applied for this position. Less stress involved, more, uh, but I could keep myself interested. And I thought I could really be a positive influence on the new building. Got to the new building, they said, "Hey, the job that you," and they accepted me for it. I got the job. I was pumped. I was like, start from scratch, do something new. This is a brand new building, set up a new thing. When I got there, they told me, "Hey, we know you took this job, but um, it's not really a feasible job yet because we're not really up and running. We need to get our processes down. We need to get our leadership up and running. We need to get all our process assistants in the right spots and trained. We know that you have trained PAs. We know you've been a PA before. Would you mind? over the next 2 or 3 months training our current PAs or on the night shift and helping them um, in working with them over the next couple months. You'll be in charge of about 30 or 40 people that are below you. They're problem solvers and fixing things, but you would be mostly coaching our supervisor, our PA that's there. And I don't want to get in the specifics of it. I said, I was like, you know what, I have no issues with that. You know, um, I'd love to help out. And if it means that whenever I start doing the quality stuff, the people that I've trained are the ones that are doing the work to get that done, then I have a great relationship with them. About 2.5 months into that, maybe 3 months, I think it was November-ish, um, early November, October, uh, I went in for my one-on-one, and it was explained to me that they decided that that they weren't going to have the position that I had been accepted for, and they wanted me to stay in the role that I was, but just become a PA again, a supervisor again, of the job that I was doing. And I thought about it for a day. I went back to them, and I said, I'm not interested in that. That's not emotionally, physically, and age-wise, if I wanted to do that, I would still be a manager at my old building, and I wanted to work with them on that. And I'm going to be as honest about, again, nothing against the people I was working with. I explained this to them, and they said, "Okay, not a problem. We'll work on that." A week into it, I had not heard anything. So I talked to HR, and they said you should write up a formal request for it. So I wrote up a formal request, sent it to my boss, his boss, and the head of the building. Um, and after a week, I received no word back from them. I then uh, uh, messaged out again to all three of them, asking if there were any updates on my days off when I came back into work. Again, no one was contacting me, no one was talking to me. I spoke with my boss about the job, doing the job each day, multiple times that day, and I was getting more frustrated because nobody was saying anything to me. Um, and finally, when I was so frustrated and fed up, and I could feel everything building on me, and um, I went to them and I said, I'm going to go home. This was a Wednesday. I said, I'm going to go home. I'm going to use my personal time. You contact me. I've messaged you this information. You contact me and let me know what you would like me to do. This was a Wednesday. Saturday evening, I got a message from my boss saying, not talking anything about me stepping down, but just basically saying, um, hey, there is one other opening, which had been an opening that was out there that you might be able to possibly get. Um, and I messaged him back and I just said, hey, you guys aren't communicating with me. Um, I don't need this job. And so I left. I resigned. I said to him, I said, I will be in on Monday to resign. And on Monday I came in and I resigned. And so that's where I was at. And at that time I was making some YouTube videos. And I think at that time I had to make some tough choices. I had saved up a lot of money. I don't spend hardly any money. I'm not rich, but I don't have any kids. I don't have anything out there. But I had to make that tough choice. And I knew that I could easily survive for multiple months without even having a job. And I knew I needed some downtime. I had tried to work things through. So that's the past. The now. So here's the crazy part. And this is what gets into the interesting part. So I was like, okay, take December off. Just take it off. Get through the holidays, um, and uh, be cool. And then come January, start the beginning of the year. Start looking for what you want to do in the future. Um, but don't worry about anything. And this is where I got to try to keep this real short, but it goes into what I'm going to do in the future, especially in the near future. So to take the time off, I decided, well, I used to play a little bit of poker. I'm going to go play a little bit of poker. Um, I have some money saved up in a side slush fund, not like $1,500 or something like that. And I thought, until that runs out. It's been a long time since I really sat down and played. There was a local casino where it's a very small poker room near my house. I thought I'll just go up there and play on my days off, and I'll do some work around the house, play with the dog, get my mind straight, just relax for a little while. The irony was, in December, I I'm not saying I won any huge amount of money, but I mean, I won basically the same amount of money, won it playing up there, that I would have made for a salary at my old job. Now, I was very honest with myself. I was running really well. My hands were hitting and holding up, um, and I did really well. So I said, okay, well that worked out. I didn't make more money, but I didn't lose more money. It's good. I'll just take January off, but I'll start focusing on what I need to do. And so in January, still playing a little bit of poker at the beginning of the year. And I actually, to give you an idea, I really sat down and focused on myself and what I need to do. I started working on the house, um, started doing some. I'm almost done with my hallway and my bathroom, where I'm redoing that. Spent more time with the puppy. She's right over here, just hanging out next to me. Um, I'll probably get more into that. Um, and I actually figured out all my expenses. I made a couple spreadsheets. I actually got so ingrained in saving money that I created a spreadsheet, and I figured out exactly, all of your expenses that you have each month. And then to the exact point where I wrote down all the basics of the groceries that I bought each month. I think I had a list of 25 items, from butter to eggs to milk to cheese to this or that. And I went to my local grocery store, and I wrote down and put into my spreadsheet the cost of each one of them. This is how insane I am. And then the next week, I went to the local Aldi's. I don't know if you guys have Aldi's in your area, but it is um, a smaller grocery store that only has its own products, its generic products. And I took the generic price of my grocery store items, and I went to Aldi's, and I compared all of them, and I figured out that I could save 25% money on my Aldi's thing. Maybe I'll show you guys that spreadsheet sometime. It's kind of funny. When you have time off, you could do this. So instead of being just unproductive and just sitting around, um, I figured out I reset my life. Um, and I think it was a really good thing. At the same time, the beginning of January, I won some more in poker. Now, not a lot, but enough to get through January. Now, I was really up. I was probably up twice the amount of my salary from my old job the first 2 weeks of the month, and then I lost money the second half. So I basically broke a little bit below even of what I used to make on what I made. Um, and I realized I was spending a little bit too much time on that. I was too focused on it, and there's more important things to do. Um, so I stopped playing poker because I want to keep focusing and get my life together. I did go into my old buddy's job, and I let him know, hey, I've got some time off right now. If they run an H&R Block office, and I used to do taxes for him about 7 to 10 years ago. And I said, I know I can't do taxes right now, but if you just need somebody to cover the front desk for a day or two a week, let me know. Well, it turns out 2 weeks later, their front desk person quit. So to help them out, I rolled in there and I worked part time for them for about 20 to 30 hours a week for the last couple months. I have a week left of that. It is today, April 9th. Tax day is April 15th. So I've been helping them out. At the same moment, and I still hadn't played Eve yet. I hadn't gotten back to Eve. Good friend of mine, one of my best friends, he plays online poker. I used to play online poker about 15 years ago. And he told me about this is where it gets very, very interesting. And I'm sorry for the length of this, but I just want to tell you guys all about what's going on. And this is where I get into the future stuff. He told me the World Series of Poker, if you don't know about it, it's the largest, it's the best known poker association in poker. Now, there's other ones that are out there, but they have a Pennsylvania, where I'm in Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania only online poker. Um, he said, they have, if you deposit $10, you could get a ticket to play in their free roll to go to the World Series main event. You have to beat out so many people, but if you win that tournament, you get to go to the $10,000 main event. Um, and then, but you have to win the tournament first. So I was like, I don't care. I used to play poker, and I've been playing now, but I took a little bit of a break from live stuff. Um, and I was like, I'll do it. So deposited $10, got my ticket, played in the tournament, lost the tournament. That's, okay, I didn't win it. Um, so that's fine. Kept doing what I was doing, kept working. So the next month rolled around, and there was like 300 people in that tournament. The next month rolled around. I said, "Hey, they're having that thing again." I said, "Oh," so I took $10, put it in there. This was March, March 28th or 29th. Maybe it's a little bit earlier than that. I'm trying to remember. Last Friday of March, I think it was. Yeah, so last Friday of March. Um, and got my ticket. Booted up the tournament. He's in the tournament on another table. And I won. I beat 247 people for $10, which gives me the bucket list thing that I've always wanted to do that I could never justify affording. Uh, I won the WSOP entry for the main event to go. This is the first week of July. It's a $10,000 entry fee, and I'll be going to Las Vegas to play in the World Series of Poker main event. Um, and I have no idea. I'm not making any money. I am not a professional poker player. I took years off of poker other than playing like a side game here or there of friends of mine. We sit down and play once every 6 months or so. In December, I got back into playing a little bit. Um, and so now I am going to the World Series of Poker main event. How does that involve with EVE Online? Well, I haven't been able to play any EVE Online in a while because I've been practicing my poker and playing live poker and working on my house and playing with the dog, and I really miss playing EVE Online. So I'm going to be coming back because I need a distraction from poker. But here's the second part. Why can't I do another video the next couple of weeks? Well, the end of tax season is coming. I got to be at that office to help out my guys who are doing taxes. I got to answer all the calls, set up all the appointments for the next week. Um, and then the day after tax season, April 16th, I am actually flying out to Las Vegas. I had already planned this trip with my buddy before I even won the World Series of Poker. I wanted to go out there because he is going to see what he thinks are maybe the last concerts of the main group of the Grateful Dead. He's a huge Grateful Dead head, and I told him I would swing out with him and I'll spend the week. I'm not going to probably go any of the shows. But I'll go out there, and then ironically, I got these rooms, and at the same week, they're having WrestleMania out there. Now, I'm an old school WrestleMania guy, so this is going to be awesome. Now, I don't know if I'm going to the show, but there's going to be a lot of people out there that know that sort of stuff. So I'm an old school WWF, WWE, WCW, AEW, all that stuff. I watch those videos all the time. So as you can tell, I started back in November, and uh, life's been going on. And I'm not going to say I'm happy. Boy, that was the toughest decision I ever made. I stayed positive. There's a lot of other things that have happened over the last couple months. But long story short, I got tax season up until the 15th. I think I have one more day off before I go. Then I'm flying out to Vegas, which I'm probably not going to have access to make any videos. Then the day that I get back, here's the crazy part. The day I get back, I go back to work at Amazon. My first day, I applied, I just got accepted. As long as my drug test and my background check go through, which I don't do any drugs and I don't have any bad stuff in my history, I start back at Amazon the day after I get back to do a regular job, part-time there, just loading some trucks and paying the bills a little bit. Um, and then when I get done with that, my niece is getting married that same following weekend, and then a company picnic to celebrate the end of tax season for H&R Block. So today is really, other than maybe Sunday, the last chance that I have to do a video. So this video, well, okay, it's not as long as I thought it might be. It's at my normal run of 30 minutes. So, long story short, totally off the cuff video. What are my plans for the future? Well, I want to get back into Eve. I want to play Eve. I want to communicate with the people that are out there. So, I am going to be booting up Eve and playing as an alpha character probably for the next month, but most importantly, just off and on. Nothing crazy. I'm going to be playing with my character here, Planet Spacehead. I'd like to do a few videos about my return to it, where I'm at. Um, I don't plan on doing any like my old videos. Going forward, I would like to do a mishmash of a lot of different videos because I think there's a lot of stuff out there that would be interesting to talk about and show. Not just about Eve, but other things. This is where I'm moving something. So, my thought is a mismatch. So, just to give you an idea, some of my favorite things in the world to watch are obviously I love watching review shows, top 10 lists, things like that. Um, I love watching videos about Eve, Eve Online. I would like to keep doing that. I'd like to talk about and get more people to play Eve. It is something that has been in my life off and on for the last 10, 12 years, and I love it. So I'd like to do some off the cuff videos with that. I'd also like to do, once I get back from Las Vegas for this trip soon, until July, I would like to do a lot of videos about what I'm doing to get ready for the main event. Um, and the first thing I've thought about is keep it simple. They call it the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. I've really sat down and taken the next 2 weeks to really come up with a plan for it. Um, I picked up a couple of my old school books that I used to have that I'm planning on doing. Coffee, talking too much. And I want to read something here if I could find it. And I'll show you the first. I picked up 3 books. I'll show you one book that I bought. I'm going to show you another thing that I got here. Um, Actually, I'll show that here in a second. So I would like to do some videos on that. I have some ideas for that, but I want to flesh them out over the next 2, 3 weeks. Um, because I don't want them to be tutorial videos. I want them to be real life videos about uh, something that somebody can listen to. I have a lot of you guys that said you like to listen to the videos. You don't really listen to me talk a lot or watch my videos. But some guys have told me they actually listen to my YouTube videos while they're driving to work, which is insane to me, but that's cool. Um, I just want to get back into making videos and stuff. Um, I might talk about the Eagles. The other thing, but so favorite things, poker, blah, blah, blah. One other thing that I really like, one of my favorite YouTube channels is Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. Now, I don't know how many of you guys watch this show at all, but it's a YouTube channel, but it's his podcast that he does. And if you know Conan O'Brien, you know he had his late night shows for a long time. He says he really enjoys doing the podcast now because back when he used to do the nightly show, he would talk to these guests for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops, then they would be gone. Now he's able to sit down and go through and talk with guests for an hour and just joke and talk and go over different things and just do what he wants to do. So that being said, and this is going to completely different from that, but in the same vein, I picked this book up. I'm going to show you here in a second. I picked this book up probably probably 5 or 6 years ago in a used bookstore. It's such a cool book, and I keep putting it away and then pulling it back out again. And it's the Reader's Digest. Can I put that there? Of how to do just about anything. Now, here's the irony of this. There's two ironies to this. The Reader's Digest. Now, I got this in a used bookstore for like $7. It's hardbound, which I love. But the thing that caught my eye to begin with is I'm going to open it up here. And if you notice, it's printed incorrectly. It's upside down. This book is upside down. The printing was incorrectly printed. I don't know if you can see that. But the print on the inside is incorrectly printed. So that, of course, got my phone. Oops, I hit the camera with that. Sorry about that there. So, well, that is not helpful. My duct tape isn't holding. We got to get this in better shape there. So here's the second best part. See, I think about the zombie apocalypse all the time, and this would be a great book to have, except for the fact that it was written. Oh, it's upside down. If I'm not mistaken, I think 1985. Copyright. Nope, I'm sorry, August 1988. So in here, you have all sorts of different things. You have, um, you can't really see it there, but drain odors. Like, what do the different smells from your drain mean? And they're just little things in here. It's got how to build drawers for your house, dry mounting photos, all in alphabetical order. Gift wrapping from 1988. I'd love to do videos about this and read them, not only because it would be informative, but also to go over what things were talked. I haven't read all of this. Oops. But what has changed since 1985? And I'll give you an example. I think if it's in here, the one on computers, I'm just going to read a small part of it here. It's the one that also caught my eye. Cholesterol, chopping foods, clothes storage, computers, concrete framework, concrete driveways, concrete, computers. Okay. So, buying a computer, first decide what you want the computer to do for you. Great advice. Then, through reading books and computer magazines, reading books and computer magazines, not looking it up on YouTube, um, and talking to people who own computers, find the best software programs for the task. Then and only then buy the hardware to fit it. Pretty logical stuff, except for the fact that you'd be probably looking up stuff on your phone. Now, here's the best part. I'm going to read down here. A computer with 24K or about 24,000 bytes of memory may be fine for games and simple programs, but some programs that process words in huge batches of numbers require 64K or 128K or 256K. Now, here's the irony. I used to have an Apple IIe. We had 64K back then, but that's what I'm saying. I would love to, if I don't have anything else to do, pull this upside down book that is incorrectly printed out and go through some different things. Got that. So that's the future. And those I would love to do real videos where it's not off the cuff, where I actually plan it out, that sort of thing. Last but not least, over the next month, like I said, I wanted to go over Hold'em. Now, I don't want to just show you guys videos and talk about different things. But there's things that you can learn from games, from things, parts of life. I got the dog next to me. You can see the tail wagging in the back. She's needing attention, so I need to end this video soon. But if I can find it here, this is one of my favorite books of all time, and I just rebought it at the used bookstore. I bought all three separate books, and I'll be pulling them out all the time. I need to be classic 5. This is where I needed to organize this better. And oh man, is that good? Cool. Off here to the side. There we go. The dog is so weirded out right now. So, kind of like a poker. Okay. So, just to show you the book I've got here, Harrington on Hold'em, Volume 1, Strategy Play. There we go. Now, this is the first poker book that I ever read. Long time ago, almost 20 years ago, I got this book and I read it over and over again. And it taught me the basics of playing in tournament poker, not in cash game poker, but in tournament poker. If you read this book, now tournament poker changes over time, but if you read this book first, it will help you immensely. Um, but it can also help you in life if you take the ideas in here and assign them to life. And I'd like to do a video on that sometime. But let me just see here. I'm going to read just a paragraph that he has in here. Page 18, Elements of a Hand. So he has a listing here of all the different parts. There we go. What you should be thinking about every single time you get a hand. 11 different things. Does that sound easy? It isn't easy. Once you really get it down, the more you do it, the better you get it. But this, while it has to do with poker, it has something to do with other things. So with those 11 things, for every single hand of poker you get, he then writes, this might seem like a lot of things to consider before making a play. Actually, it is a lot of things to consider. Now, I added on that last part. It is a lot of things to remember. That's why playing no limit hold'em well is difficult but rewarding. I'm out of the camera. There we go. That's why playing no limit hold'em is difficult but rewarding. If this were a short list, the game would be much easier. More people would do it well. The fewer players would make any real money. So if your goal is to become a top no limit hold'em player, be glad that it's tough rather than it being an easy thing to do. That just means your hard work will be well rewarded. Now, I know a lot of people have a lot of things to say. What I take from this and what I'd like to do with the videos going forward. I'm looking at the camera now. Gotta stop looking at me. I'm gonna read that lesson. It just means your hard work will be well rewarded. When things are tough, and you work hard at them, it means that if you're successful, you'll be well rewarded for that hard work. And you can hang your hat on that. And a lot of the things that I take from poker, I relate to real life. And I'd like to do that with the videos. Uh, when I get back from my short trip to Las Vegas after tax season, I want to focus not on relearning how to play poker, but making my life better outside of poker so that there we go. Just bugging me. My OCD's kicking in. Got to fix that for the next video. I want to look at my life just like I did with those in January, where I made the spreadsheet for all these and organizing how much I'm spending on food and how much I'm spending on gas, and that is still low. This is just driving me insane. There we go. I don't know. I'm gonna move this camera. I'm gonna switch them next time. Um, Next couple months, I want to give you guys a heads up of where I'm at, what I'm doing as far as getting ready for the poker, um, for the main event. Um, Even if I bust and don't make any money at it when it happens, I want it to be such a positive experience over the next 2 months that it reshapes my life for a couple of years in the future. Part of that is getting back to Eve. Part of that is having communication with people with like minds, um, and then carrying what I've gotten through with the next couple of months into the rest of my life. Um, does it mean that's going to change my life forever? No. It's working hard at something that is tough. Um, Working hard at life so that you'll be well rewarded and know that you didn't just get it. So that's what I wanted to let you guys know. I really apologize for this camera work. We will work. I will work on that in the future. If you're wondering, I have a piece of duct tape that's holding this down. So, last but not least, she is taking care of business behind me. Maya, do you want to say goodbye? Bring your bone over here. You want to say goodbye? I don't know if I'm going to do a video anytime soon. You can see the tail wagging in the back there. She's just stuck on the bone. Um, but I wanted to say hi. How's it going? I will be back. I may possibly do a video before I leave to Las Vegas. Um, there's so many videos I want to do. But okay, stop. Video number one. Next one I do. How to get your camera set up correctly so you don't have to fight with it the whole time. Good to be back. Um, Hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon. As always, fly safe, fly dangerously, fly however you want. If you want to get in touch with me, right up here, just message me. I'll be in as Planet Head. I just updated my software, so I'll be logging into um, Eve here soon. I should have access to that while I'm out in Vegas as well, but I don't think I'll have access to make any videos. But I'll give you guys a recap of that. I don't know how to end this video. I'm so happy to be back. Um, Sorry about me talking for too long. I will talk to you soon. Fly safe. I already said it. Fly safe, fly dangerous, fly whatever you want. Have a good one, guys. Bye bye.